for far too long. Batteries in my garage have been hidden away, housed in dark cupboards, stored on a dusty shelf. Not loved much, and except for the few moments I actually needed them to run a test, they were useless. Some even had to perform their service in the same box in which they were delivered. These are very sad and horrible circumstances for a battery. But that should be over now. The batteries deserve better. Have to get out in the sun and have fun. That's why this company from California sent me this. No, Andy, not this company from California.
I love the colourful clothes she wears, and the way the sunlight plays upon her hair. I hear the sound of a gentle word, all the way that lifts her perfume through the air.
This is not what I meant. That's why this company from California sent me this. This box contains the version 3 of the SunFun kit. It includes everything you need to build your dream battery. Look at this, a full-size battery enclosure and the manual in printed form. Guys, no QR code to scan. The website says you can build your own battery in around 30 minutes. So guys, before we start building this beautiful battery here, we want to have a look what we actually got. So this is the Ready for Cells kit. You buy this Ready for Cells kit and use your own battery cells. And you can use a lot of different cells with this kit. All the 280 NK variants with welded studs, with set screws, the EVE LF 304 ampere hours, like the Leischen, whatever it's called, and also the CATL cells. But there's also a ready to build kit, which comes including the batteries. So the case, all these accessories, including the batteries, and you build your own battery at home. And as a third option, they have just published their configurator on the website. So you can actually pick what kind of pieces you want and build your own kit as you like it. With batteries, without batteries, BMS, without, balancer, and a lot more of parts and accessories. Okay, let's have a closer look at the Ready for Cells kit. Of course, first of all, we've got the case here. This is a heated case. You can see the 2 rubber heating pads here on the side. And we will see later on how this connects to the battery. So the battery box comes in the heated version and also non-heated version. And then you have the choice of the lid, yellow or black. They both come with these M8 brass terminals. And pretty cool, they have a through hole for 2 reasons. Because you can either select if you want a screw terminal or if you want a studded terminal. So obviously your cells go into the case, and then we've got these different mounting brackets here. First one goes on top of your battery cells and actually holds them down in the case. The second bracket holds your active balancer and can also hold an electronic thermostat. You can program a set temperature, and this will control your heating pads inside your battery box. And this second bracket goes upside down on top of the first bracket. And then as the third bracket, it is our BMS mounting bracket. And here they have installed a nice ciabatta 200 amp BMS with, yes, with a heating port. And this BMS bracket then sits on top of the other two. So these brackets, they're all sandwiched together here and then go on top of your battery. But wait, there's more. They're not only making these brackets here for ciabatta BMSs. No, you can also use a Haltech BMS or a QUCC BMS and even a Dali. And these different BMS plates are precisely manufactured for each BMS individually. So if you have a different BMS than these ones here, just email them and they can 3D print a bracket for your specific BMS. And from what I read, they also make just a base plate so you can mount your BMS yourself if you want to. And now some of you will say, well, this is all 3D printed only, this is all cheap plastic. Well, I can assure you, this is not cheap material. I mean, look at this. Look at this. This is not cheap material. And even here, this BMS plate. Relax. Okay, I would say without further ado, let's start building this battery. So the first step will of course be to fit our battery cells into this box here. So number 2 and cell number 4. Because this will be a very, very tight fit. Look at this. This is 10 millimeters too wide. We've got a bit of gap here and a bit of gap there. So if we squeeze this now in, it should actually fit. The manual says this. It is a very tight fit in this enclosure. You need to work the battery in. I thought about this because they are not using any spacers in between and we are mildly compressing now the cells. Yeah, there is some kind of force now on the battery cells, but we have no additional isolation in between the battery cells. I usually would have used this 0.8 millimeter PP sheet here. That's just a black piece of plastic. And then cut this to size and put this in between the cells. Apparently the version 4 of this ready-to-build kit has a little bit more space and accommodates these spacers in between the cells. Okay, let's see if I can work this somehow in here. I need to fade. Oh yeah, there we go. There we go. And now keep... Guys, if I push this in here, I will never be able to get this out again without destroying. I've seen this on Mike's channel as well. And he said, you need to lean with his whole weight on the battery to get it in. It's that tight. Yep, it's coming. It is going in. It is super tight. They will never come out again. Never ever you will be able to get these out again. Alright guys, it is in. That is bombenfest. Look at this. They are not coming out. There's no way they can come out again. There's no way. Am I sweaty? Oh no, I made a mistake. I'm just kidding again. Now this is all good. Got our main positive here, then have our main negative down here. And I believe this is where the spacers go in. So we've got a bit of a gap now. And this depends what kind of cells you're actually using. And hence they have different spacers in the pack. So again, checking that we have the right spacers. That's all good. And using the bottom plate with a positive over here, negative on the other side. Fits our positive on this side. Perfect. So this bottom plate here really ensures that your is that heavy? That your cells are not falling out anymore. So with the main positive down here, we can now use the standard bus bars coming with the battery cells. And they fit nicely over this bottom plate. So I have decided to go with a JBD 150 amp BMS. And this is the 150 amp BMS wiring. Look at this. Pre-crimped balance cables. Nice. What a great service. This is double 6-gauge wire. So here's our main negative. And we're using the blue split cable to go to our BMS. We've got the main positive. And the cables for the active balancer are also pre-configured. And because we are using these flange nuts here to tighten our terminals, the manual actually says to have washers underneath and above our balance cables for the BMS and active balancer. And I quite like this information, because see these tiny ring lugs? When you tighten the flange nut, it will actually bite into the material of your ring lug, and they are not very thick. Of course, there's no washer underneath the main cable. And then a washer, balance cable for the BMS, balance cable for the active balancer, another washer, and our flange nut. This is exactly as I would have done it as well. Nice job.
I love the colorful clothes she wears and the way the sunlight plays.
And as always, we are going with 4 Newton meters for the terminals. So, and now the next step is precisely explained in the manual as well. This is to make sure your balance cables are connected correctly. You have to measure the voltages between the cables, and there's a step-by-step explanation in the manual, which I really like. 9, 13. And the next step in our exciting build is to mount the riser plate. I have forgotten to plug in the balance cables for the active balancer. Yay, we've got the light. It is balancing. Well, and I guess this is the even more exciting part when we finally install the BMS now as the final step. Look at this. It fits perfectly. Isn't that nice? How good is that build? Okay, so these longer screws in this position and the shorter one in this position. Here, something funny. At this step, it says in the manual, we recommend only using hand tools for this process, despite the YouTube videos where the installer and author of this manual uses an impact hammer and a sad face. Look at this. And that is so funny, right? So, and now comes the tricky part. We need to get one of these cables onto this terminal and the other blue cable on the other side of the BMS. This is our battery minus, and it is split on this BMS. So that's why they have provided this split cable in the right length. And here on the other side, C minus goes to our negative terminal of the case. So there's a split cable with 2 different lengths of cables. And because we have to bend this in a radius, see how perfectly it fits then? They've got the same length here. Amazing. So this will be our connection to the negative terminal of the battery, and this for the positive. And here on the other side, we can now plug in our balance cables to the BMS, because we have connected it to the negative of the battery and everything is ready cabled. So we just plug it in. I have checked the order of the voltage. Everything is good. All right. You can see a blue light flashing there. It is alive. Our battery is alive for the very first time. The Bluetooth was lit up for a second, but I think it comes active once we connect the app. And here we will have a very quick look at the SFK app. It is available for Android and iOS. You just search for Sun Fun Kids and you find the app for it. So once installed, this is the version 2.9. We do a scan. And there we go. We are discovering the SFK 150 version 2. Okay, we click on it. The Bluetooth light comes on. And here we go. This is the app. Right. Gives us the volts, amps, watts, remaining, ampere hours, the BMS temperature and the case temperature. I assume this is in Fahrenheit. Details. We've got the graph down here with all the single cell voltages. You can select amps, volts, temperature, different gauges, and under tools, see at the top here we can enable and disable discharging and charging. So I would say we are turning both off and then click on update. Yep, setting updated. Can calibrate the temperature sensor. We can set a maximum charge. How does this work? In percentage. How is it determined 90%? Maximum charge amps 110, maximum discharge amps minus. Okay, so we can set this one to 150. Update. And the battery capacity is on 304. Update. We can enable a pin code. Connection re-established 10 times, 30 times, 60 times. This is the auto connect from the app to the BMS. And the pull request 3, 5 or 8 seconds to update all the data. Pretty cool. About SFK, Sun Kids. Nice. And guess what? We also can use the Xiang app to connect to the Jabata BMS, which is obviously rebranded. It has Sun Kids at the top. Let's have a look in the parameter view. And all the way down. Yeah, exactly. Manufacturer Sun Kids. They did a rebranding on the BMS. And a quick glimpse at the balance precision, 15 millivolt and 3.4 volt is the turn on voltage. Okay, we leave this all as it is because we've got an active balancer anyway. And we know the Jabata is only balancing with 100-120 milliamps. Oh, the over voltage at the top is at 65.5 volts. That's a bit too high. We should put this to 3.65, right? Under voltage is 2.8. Yep, I want to go all the way down here. If I can, if I have to, and the release could be 2.8 again. Yeah, these are all individual settings you can change as per your desire. Because we have the BMS now active here, I would be very, very careful with the main positive and the main negative. They are very close together and we don't want to have any accidents here, right? So I would really recommend either turning off the BMS while you assemble the lid or go into the app and turn off discharging of the BMS. Just to isolate these two again, so if they're becoming friends, they're not getting angry. So I'm pushing all the balance cables here into this area. There's like a little tunnel down here and I strap them all together and we push them in this position down here. And I've done the same with the balance cables for the active balancer. So the whole cable sausage is being pushed into this tunnel. Yep, there's the orange light of the active balancer. We can still see it. Yeah, what are we doing with the temperature sensors? I pushed one of the temperature probes all the way underneath this razor plate and the other one sticks out over here and measures the overall temperature inside the case. Okay, and then one of the final steps, we need to connect the lid and make a decision which kind of terminals we actually want. And here we can see the two options we have for our terminals. One is a studded terminal and one is the flanged screw on the top. So I decided to go with the screw options for our terminals. I've got the positive over here and this will be very, wow, how am I supposed to? And I recommend a torque setting of 10 to 15 Newton meters for these two connections. Yeah, 14 Newton meters. Okay, and I think this concludes the building of this battery. Oh yeah, it fits nicely. mean, these are almost 4 kilowatt hours. So then, final step, let's turn on charging and discharging. And we are online. Minus 8.6 amps. Cool. It works. So I've quickly connected our power supply to our freshly built battery and we are charging with 21 amps. It all seems to work just fine. One last thing. It is heavy. We made it! Okay. I want to tell you some more about the heating functionality in the Sunfun Kit battery system. But not tonight anymore, because it's already a 10:15. So let's continue this tomorrow. Have a good night's sleep. Okay, let's talk about the heating options in the SFK battery kit. Yeah, it is now the next day. I'm wearing a different t-shirt. Obviously, we've got the main heating option here directly in the case with these 2 rubber heating pads. So yeah, connecting these 2 heating pads to my power supply. At 13 volts, we are pulling 6.4 amps. So just keep this in mind. If you choose this heating option in the battery, you may pull 6.4 ampere hours per hour, just to keep your battery cozy warm. Of course, this is somehow regulated and controlled. Either your BMS can do this, like the Jabata BMS here. This one has its dedicated heating port. You connect the positive to your battery and the negative comes from the heating port. And I guess, I haven't seen it myself, but I think you can go into the configuration then and set a certain temperature to turn this port on and off. And this reacts then to one of your temperature probes of the BMS. And here the Heltec Smart BMS 4S 200 amps. I think this is a heating port as well. I can read the word heat. I think this is the heating port here as well. Not sure if this is positive, negative for the heating element, but this is a similar BMS which can be used directly with your heating pads in your case. And as a second option, when you configure your kit under sunfunkits.com, you can choose to have an electronic thermostat. So this also connects to your positive. Guys, why is this cable red as well? One should be black. This should be black. Guys, what's going on here? Come on. So I'm connecting this to my power supply at the moment. We've got 23 degrees. When temperature increases, you could hear the click of the relay. At 27, it turns off. You can easily program this one and set the temperature to whatever you like. I'll probably set this to like 15 or so, you know. And there is a whole bunch of other programming you can do with this module here. So you can actually customize it to your needs. And as a third heating option, number 1 was the BMS, number 2 is the electronic thermostat. But wait, there's more. There's a third option how you can heat your battery. As you have seen at the beginning, they are also making these amazing insulated boxes. They call them jackets. And this is actually a big cooler bag. It has this insulating padding. And this one is a very special one because it has an aluminium heating element here in the bottom. And when we open this little pocket here, you can see, oh yeah, that's the same connector again, right? We can see we've got positive, negative here with a black cable this time. Very nice. And a temperature sensor. How is this whole thing controlled? Well, if you have a look on the outside, it has an SFK control module. Okay, I'll show you. Okay, let me turn on the power supply. Nice. So in here you've got a button and you can run this thing in 5 different modes. So holding the button turns it on. This is mode number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So number 1 is like the eco mode, the I found it here. It's in this email here. So setting number 1 is 18.5 degrees. It keeps the battery on. Option number 2 would be 24 degrees. And option number 3 is the booster, 30 degrees Celsius. Option number 5 is the 24 degrees, so the medium setting basically for 12 hours. And then it turns off the heating. And the same here, 24 degrees for 24 hours. So 1 full day of heating. If you have a really cold battery, you can use this one. It heats the battery to 24 degrees and keeps the heating running for 24 hours. And a long press, off again. Isn't that nice? All right, power supply connected again. Let me turn this on. There's no power because this temperature is too low. Yeah, here we go. 7.4 amps. This is the 24 degree setting, and I think the third option will be the same. It just keeps it longer on to reach the higher temperature. Yeah, 7.4 amps. So 7.4 ampere hours per hour it will draw from your battery if you have this option on. Until the I'll show you here. I'll keep this one in my hand. Once we hit the 30 degrees now. There, turns it off. See, once you hit the 30 degrees, it turns it off. Yeah, but this is the third option they have to heat up your battery. And you can use like the basin battery and just put a non-heated battery inside this cooler box, inside this sauna. And the heating element at the bottom keeps the battery nice and warm in your cold climate. And, well, the space. I've got an idea here. If you go to the beach and take the battery with you, you can use your beer. Oh, no, I can't. It's heating. Oh, no. Get out. Well, team from Sunfun Kids, you need to build a cooler box for this, for hotter climates, where we actually don't need to heat our batteries, but we want to have a cold beer from time to time. Because this fits perfectly. See, 2 6-packs, no problem, even a third one. Yeah, heaps of space for more beer. Come on guys from Sunfun Kids in sunny hot California. You have to make a cooler box for this. Imagine you connect your battery to this cooler box and it keeps all your beverage cold. Not with a heating element, but with a cooling element. So let's wait and see until the SFK cooler box comes in the online configurator. By the way, these heated jackets, they are not in the online configurator at the moment. Asan from SFK told me they will be available in about 2 months' time. And here again, we've got a non-heated version and a heated version with the heating element in the bottom. And he actually put a little note in here, not a conductive surface, don't worry. Because it looks like aluminium foil, but it's not. I think you've got all the information now about the SFK. So let's do a final verdict about this whole system. Okay, let's start with the negative. Okay, what I don't like at this system is mounting these battery cells here. I had to use a lot of force. I was leaning, almost standing on this battery cell to squeeze it in. I know there will be a future version 4 of this battery system, but at the moment we have version 3 here, and it is a pain in the ass to get your battery cells into the case as you have seen it. It probably was particularly difficult in my case because my cells were already a bit bloated, swollen on the outside from the tests we have run with these set. So it might be easier if you use brand new cells. And they have even certified automotive cells on their website as well. They may be totally plain. I mean, the new 280K version here, and also the new LF304 cells here, they are totally plain. But I didn't want to rip out 4 of these cells here to build a battery pack. So I thought it's a good example to use actually used cells, because some of you may be in the same position and have used cells at home, but lacking the case. You now have the option with the SFK. So this was something I didn't enjoy, I didn't like. So the next thing I don't really like on this kit here is this part here, the active balancer. I mean, I like the active balancer because we know it is working fine, but do we want to keep this connected all the time? I thought I made this really clear. Maybe not. The active balancer should only be activated, turned on at a higher state of charge, higher voltage. Otherwise, it creates an imbalance in your battery, because it constantly pushes energy from one cell into other cells and totally destroys your top balance. You will see this in the next video coming tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, because I made the long-term test now with our 3 battery banks here on the shelf, and 2 of them have the active balancer connected for 24/7 for the last 2 weeks I think it was. And the result is, well, let me tell you, I don't like that the active balancer is permanently connected to the battery cells. And the next minor thing is, well, the website is promising you can assemble this battery in less than 30 minutes. If you have not done this before and you are just reliant on this manual here, it will take you longer than 30 minutes. Probably an hour, maybe 1 hour and a half. On the positive side of the SFK, I like how the cells are being mounted. Yes, I know, I said exactly the same for the negative side, right? But it is also a positive side, because you have seen, once you got the cells in there, they will not move. They will not move like in other cases, like the SOK battery, for example, where the cells are fairly loose inside. Here in the SFK system, no chance your battery cells will moving. The batteries are really compressed with this foam inside this box here, very safe. So even if you shake the battery a lot or have high vibrations like in four-wheel drive applications, you're going camping and you're bumping the battery around, there's no way these cells will come out. So the mounting of the cells is a negative but also a positive. Then of course we need to talk about the flexibility. If you have a look at the online configurator, you can build pretty much any kit you want, with all the accessories, with no accessories, totally as you like it. You can mount many different cells in this box, and they make the mounting plate for it, especially for this BMS, even for the Dalis. I mean, even who's using Dalis these days, right? But even for the Dali BMS, it is a perfect fit mounting plate. And the same with the case. I mean, not only you can choose between yellow and black, but the terminals, for example, if you want studded terminals or screw terminals, it is totally your choice. I mean, come on, where else do you get this kind of flexibility? And last but not least, I want to talk about the manual, just for a second. If you have never built such a battery, if you don't know anything about building a battery, this manual gets you through easily. I especially like they have a photo for each step in the manual, and they explain step by step how to put this battery together. They even walk you through how to measure the balance cables for your BMS and active balancer and make sure all the voltages are in the right order before you connect anything. They've got all the information in this manual here to make the SFK a success. So I would give the SFK a 4 frogs out of 5. You know I'm German. Nobody gets a 5 out of 5. Maybe if they build the cooler box for our SPAT, then we are very, very close to a 5 out of 5. There is also, let me, They have also created a coupon code, so you get a bit of a discount when you use the coupon code OGGA. What? Off Grid Garage Antarctica. Yes. So if you use the OGGA coupon code at checkout, it doesn't say, you probably get a 5% discount or something like this. That is amazing. Thank you, sunfunkits.com, for creating such a great product. That was actually a lot of fun to build this kit together, even without the sun. You get it? Get it? Before you go, quickly, I know this is already a 1.5 hour video now, but I want to quickly show you something. Look at this. This is the Basin 12 volt, 300 ampere hour battery, but look at this size difference. This one is a bit higher, but the overall area it occupies, it is so much smaller than this one. It is such a big difference. Look at this. So guys, until the next video, you stay charged and safe, and thanks for sticking around when I had a look at the SFK, the Sun Fun Kit, to build your own personal battery. Thanks for watching again, guys. See you then. Bye bye. And we need this cooler box LA, California, the Beach Boys, and the Tesla joke. For me it was clear LA means Los Angeles, and now I'm 80% through editing this video. And I just realized LA stands actually for the great state of Louisiana. Sun Fun Kids is not from LA. They are from LA, Louisiana. So I thought, instead of ripping apart this video here and get rid of all the California jokes, the Beach Boy theme and the whole California vibe, I'll leave this all in here and mark the locations with a to link here to the epilogue. LA. Now, who would have thought there's a second LA? See, that's why we have only 8 states and territories here in Australia. It keeps things simple.